वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो। श्री बादरायणीरुवाच भगवानपि तारात्रि शारदोत्फुल्लमल्लिका भिक्षरन्तु मनश्चक्रे योगमायामुपाश्रितः। Sri Badarayani said, Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, full in all opulence. Yet upon seeing those autumn nights scented with blossoming jasmine flowers, he turned his mind towards loving affairs. To fulfill his purposes, he employed his internal potency. तड़ोडुराज ककुभ करेर्मुखं प्राचा विलम्पन् अरुणेन शन्तमे सचर्षणेनामुदगाच्छयो मृजन् प्रिय प्रियाया इव दीर्घदर्शन. The moon then rose, anointing the face of the eastern horizon with the reddish hue of his comforting rays, and thus dispelled the pain of all who watched him rise. The moon was like a beloved husband who returns after a long absence and adorned the face of his beloved wife with red kumkuma. दृष्ट्वा कुमुदमन्तं खण्डमण्डलं रममाननाभं कङ्कुमारुणं वनं च तत्कोमलगोभिरञ्जितं जगोकलं वामदृशा मनोहरम्. Lord Krishna saw the unbroken disk of the full moon glowing with the red effulgence of newly applied vermilion, as if it were the face of the goddess of fortune. He also saw the Kumoda lotuses opening in response to the moon's presence, and the forest gently illuminated by its rays. Thus the Lord began to play sweetly on his flute, attracting the minds of the beautiful-eyed gopis. निशम्य गीतं तदनङ्गवर्धनं व्रज स्त्रियं कृष्ण गृहीतमानसा आजग्मूरन् पत्रकान्तो जवलोलकुण्डला. When the young woman of Vrindavan heard Krishna's flute song, which aroused his romantic feelings, their minds were captivated by the Lord. They went to where their lover waited, each unknown to others, moving so quickly that their earrings swung. काश्चित् दोहं हित्वा समुत्सुका पयोधिश्रित्य संयावम् अनुद्वासया पराययुः. Some of the gopis were milking cows. When they heard Krishna's flute, they stopped milking and went off to meet him. Some left milk curdling on the stove, and others left cakes burning in the oven. परिवेशयन्तस्तद्धित्वा पाययन्त्य शिशून् पयः शुषयन्त्य पतिं काश्चित् अश्नोत्योपास्य भोजनम् लिम्पन्त्य प्रमुजन्त्योन्या अजन्यन्त्य काश्चलोचने व्यतयस्तवस्त्राभरणा काश्चित् कृष्णान्तिकं ययुः. Some of them were getting dressed, feeding milk to their infants, or rendering personal service to their husbands, but they all gave up these duties and went to meet Krishna. Other gopis were taking their evening meals, washing themselves, putting on cosmetics, or applying kajala to their eyes, but all the gopis stopped these activities at once. Though their clothes and ornaments were in complete disarray, rushed off to Krishna. तावार्यमाणा हि पतिभिः पितृभिः भातृबन्धुभिः गोविन्दापयतात्मानो न वर्तन्त मोहिता. Their husbands, father, brothers, and other relatives tried to stop them, but Krishna had already stolen their hearts. Enchanted by the sound of his flute, they refused to turn back. युक्ता दद्युमीलितलोचना Some of the gopis, however, could not manage to get out of their houses, and instead they remained home with eyes closed, meditating upon him in pure love. दूसप्रेष्ट विरह तीव्रतापदुताशुभा ध्यान प्राप्ताच्युता श्लेष निवृत्त्या क्षीणमङ्गला तमेव परमात्मानं जारबुद्ध्यापि सङ्गता जुहुगुणमयं देहं सत्य प्रक्षीणबन्धना. For those gopis who could not go to see Krishna, intolerable separation from their beloved caused an intense agony that burned away all impious karma. By meditating upon him, they realized his embrace and the ecstasy. They then felt exhausted their material piety. Although Lord in that intimate mode, thus their karmic bondage was nullified and they abandoned their gross material bodies. श्रीपरीक्षित् उवाच कृष्णं विदुपरं कान्तं न तु ब्रह्मतया मुने गुणप्रवाहो परमस्तासां गुणधीयां कथम्. Sri Parikshit Maharaj said, O sage, the gopis knew Krishna only as their lover, not as the supreme absolute truth. So how could these girls, their mind caught up in the waves of the modes of nature, free themselves from material attachment? श्रीशुक उवाच उक्तं पुरस्ताद् एतत्ते चैत्यं सिद्धिं यथा गतः द्वेषनं नपि ऋषिकेशं किमुतादोक्षज प्रियः. Sukdev Goswami said, this point was explained to you previously, since even Shishupal, who hated Krishna, achieved perfection, then what to speak of the Lord's dear devotees? नृणां निःश्रेयसार्थाय व्यक्तिर्भगवतो नृप अव्ययस्य प्रमेयस्य निर्गुणस्य गुणात्मनः. O King, the Supreme Lord is inexhaustible and immeasurable, and He is untouched by the material modes because He is their controller. His personal appearance in this world is meant for bestowing the highest benefit of humanity. कामं क्रोधं भयं स्नेहम् ऐक्यं सौहृदमेव च नित्यं हरो विदधतो यान्ति तन्मयतां हिते. Person who constantly direct their lust, anger, fear, protective affections, feeling of impersonal oneness or friendship towards Lord Hari are sure to become absorbed in thoughts of him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai ho. Thank you, Prabhuji, for so wonderful seva. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. We can finish the recap also before Prabhuji joins.
Okay. Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sure. Okay. So, last time we completed lesson 61. In this lesson 61, what was covered was introduction to Rasa Panchodhyaya. So, what is Panchodhyaya? Panchodhyaya is the 5 chapters or 5 adhyayas of the Rasa Leela, which is also called Shringaras. Okay. Now, firstly, Hare Krishna, dear all, welcome to today's class. So I will do the recap and then I think we'll do the prayers later. So the first, so Prabhuji has divided nicely into 5 lesson 62 to lesson 72. I think 10 lessons, and this is the layout. The first is chapter 29, where there is a foreplay of the rasa dance, which is also called Shringar. Foreplay means the preparation, the preparatory activities that are needed. And then Krishna, he quotes the gopis. We'll see that later how he does. At first, he just plays with them, as in he says, "Oh, why you are coming in the middle of a night? You are so young and married, and then you are coming and meeting me, a young person. This is against the Shastra, so you should not do that." But then gopis chastise him, so we'll see that. That will be covered. Then the rasa dance begins, but then Krishna, he disappears. That also we'll see why. And then gopis search for Krishna and sing the Gopi Geet in the Viraha Bhav or Viprapralamba Bhav. And then there is a reunion, which is the Sambhoga. And then again the rasa dance continues. So that we'll see. This is the layout Prabhu gave us. Now, also, along with the rasa dance, Prabhuji said that he gave us an introduction to Ujjvala Nidamani. Why so? Because Ujjvala Nidamani gives us a very intricate details about the rasa dance, the different aspects, the different, what do you call, the different like Alamban, Udipan, the different ras is the mellow, and ultimately it's a dance which is like art. So all the different mellows and all the different stages are described very much in detail in the Ujjvala Nidamani. Okay, so that's what. So let me start a few questions now. Can one of you describe the 9 progressive stages, or just mention the 9 progressive stages of the Madhurati or Ujjvala Rati?
It's Prema, Sneha, Mana, Pranaya, Raga, Anuraga, Bhava, and Mahabhava.
Right, Mataji. So these all come after the, so there is from Shraddha to Bhava, there are 9 stages which all of sadhakas go through. These stages are after Prema. This is all already for a devotee who has achieved perfection. So these are the stages after that. Now within the Shringaras, which is of romance, love, and attractiveness, there are 2 types of Shringaras. Can someone read it? And their subsections.
Vipralamba and Sambhava.
Yes. So what is Vipralamba? What are the different stages in Vipralamba? Can someone read them? Purvaraga.
Yes, Prabhu.
Purvaraga.
Purvaraga, Man, Prema Vaichintyam, Pravasa, and in the Sambhoga, there is a Samiksha, Samkshipta, Sankirna, and Samapana.
Yes. And then Samriddhi Marg.
Samruddhi Marg.
So that is there. These are the different stages. To make it very quickly, Vipralamba, Purva Raga is the raga which is developed before the meeting, just hearing about the object, which is Krishna here. Mana is the jealousy due to mana is a mana, anger due to jealousy. Like Krishna spends time with some other gopi and all. Then Prema Vaichityam is Krishna is there with them, but they imagine the separation with Krishna. So that is called again a separation, imagine separation. And Pravasa is separation because of travel. That could be a short travel or a long. And then Sambhoga is a meeting. Again, there are different categories of Sambhoga. Samkshipta means just a brief meeting only through the description. That is when Purvaraga, someone is describing about Krishna, then that also is a meeting, but just a thought. Sankirna is when the youthful couple, they fight against each other. Sampanna means meeting after a close pravasa, like going to the this thing, forest and coming back and so on. And then Samriddhi Marg is meeting after a distance or long pravasa. So that is the stages that were described about the 2 forms of rasa. Now there is what we call Sthahi Bhav. Sthahi Bhav is described as a permanent or essential state of mind, right? So Krishna has a Sthahi Bhav or love for the gopis, and gopis have a Sthahi Bhav, which is love for Krishna. Now this goes through different stages, right? So those stages are called as different bhav, or I think the closest word is emotion. So like Vibhav is caused because of Alamban and Uddipan. Okay. Alamban is like Alamban is the external human or other object looking at which you external things which when you see you think of the object of love or Krishna. Uddipan is again the emotions that we go through, which is like just like lighting a lamp. So they excite or affect internally our in. So Uddipan karte hain, right? Then Sthayi is the stabilized bhav, as we said, and this is a permanent bhav, and this goes through the transformation. Again, there are different stages here. Vyabhichari bhav, Sanchari bhav, Anubhav, or Sattvika bhav. This will go in details in the next slide here. This is again the similar explanation of the different stages of Viprapralamba and different stages of Sambhoga. So 4 stages here, 4 stages here. Now the 9 stages and the sub-stages were explained here in a very high level by Charapurvu, and they have been explained very details in our Ujjwala Nilamani class, which is from Rati to Prema, Prema to Sneha, Sneha to Mana, Mana to Pranaya. Please excuse me for a moment. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so this was explained very briefly and in detail during our Ujjwala Nilamani class. So I will skip that. Then about mana or each of these stages, right? So mana is like Krishna is mine, and that's mana is form in highest form in Radharani. So now I will ask some technical question. What are the 2 types of mana or within the subtypes within mana? Yeah. Can someone try read this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Uddata and Lalita.
Uddata and
Uddata
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Lalita.
Yeah. And what are the, where do they come from?
From Ghata Sneha, gentle, and from Madhu
Uddata comes
Sneha,
from Vritasneha, which
jokey,
is
crooked,
gentle, yeah.
jokey.
Yes, ma'am. In Lalita comes from Madhusneha, which is crooked like Radharani, and Uddata from Vritasneha, which is gentle, like what is seen in, for example, the cousin sister of Radharani, is that Chandralika, or I forget the name. Yeah,
Chandravali.
Chandravali. So sorry. Yes, thank you, Madam. Yeah. And then now, what is pranaya, and what are the 2 causes of pranaya? If someone can read this.
Yes, Prabhuji. The cause of prana is said to be intimacy by the wives. Intimacy has 2 types, Maitri and Sakya.
Maitri comes from Vritasneha.
Maitri from Grita Sneha, modesty, and Sakya from a Madhu Sneha, no fear.
Yeah. So these are the technical aspects here of the stages that this different bhavas go through, and these are seen mostly in gopis, and of them highest is in Radharani, which we'll see further. This is what again about Radharani. The stage of Madhurati. I need a minute, please. बस हो जाएगा. Apologies for the distraction again. Okay, so back to this, the 9th stages of Madhurati. Herein we see Mahabhava, and that is only seen in Rashri Radharani. She is the Mahabhava Swarupa. Now, in Mahabhava, again some technical question. What is Rudha in Mahabhava? If someone can read through, Mataji's.
When the Sattvic Bhava become Udipta in Mahabhava, it is called Udipta.
So this we'll read more about this. What is Sattvic Bhavas are here, and they becomes enlightened or available or visible or manifest in Radharani. That is the Rudha. Then there is, so that is Rudha Mahabhava, and there is Aniruddha Mahabhava. So Aniruddha Mahabhava, I will read to you. So when the Anubhavas attain inconceivably greater excellence than those of Rudha Mahabhava, that condition is Aniruddha Mahabhava. Okay? And then what are the Ashta Sattvika Vikas? Can someone read this? The 5 levels of experiencing the Ashta Sattvika Bhava. Yes, who's
Dhumaita, Jwalita, Deepta, Uddipta, Sudipta, the corresponding to smoking, smoldering, lighted, blazing, inflamed, and then intensely blazing, respectively.
Yes, so those are the Ashtasattvika Bhava. Then again, we covered this, the different transformation of Sthavi Bhava. We just covered that earlier. Vibhava has 2 parts, Alamban, Udipan, then there is Sthai Bhava, Vyabhichari Bhava, Sanchari Bhava, and Anubhava or Sattvika Bhava. And if anyone interested, we have links to the previous lecture from
Abu,
Ujjwal
can you
Nagarajan.
just, I want to disturb, but just wanted to get that Alambana part, the personal or human object and substratum. Can you just explain that?
Yes. So what I understand, Mataji, is like when gopis look at the, for example, friends of Krishna, or they would see footstep of Krishna or anything related to Krishna, that would remind them of Krishna. That is what is Alamban. And then what transformation happened within, that is Udipan. That is the excitement or effect of the emotion. That is what I remember or understand, but may I request Sharat Prabhu to elaborate further, or if Charu Prabhu is here now.
This will be more clear in the subsequent classes when we talk of rasa. Here, Alambana and Uddipana. Uddipana is very clear. It is what excites, like the atmosphere, the flowers, the aroma, the breeze, the gopis, all these. And Alambana is Krishna only. So that way, things will be more clear subsequently.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, sorry, Mataji, don't have full. This is a bit technical for me also, so I am not. Okay, so next.
Excuse me.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I must add what Sharat Prabhuji just said. It's not only Krishna. Largely he is, but sometimes he is become the Uddipana, and the gopis can be Alambana also, you know. So there's just one little correction in that. Sharat Prabhuji, if you don't mind.
Yes, you are right.
It's not always, but
Yeah.
largely, yes, largely Krishna. Like today, in today's class, we learn the 3 or 4 factors at the very beginning that happens, that turns out to be Alambana, full moon night, the beauty of the forest, and all these things that triggered, that made Krishna to mentally decide that he wants to enjoy this conjugal rasa with the gopis. So that time, that was Uddipana in him, you know. Uddipana means it's really something, something happened that causes to, say, Sanskrit is Prajavalita. So you're trying to light a lamp, you know. Something happens that lights the lamp and that illuminating light gets brighter, brighter, and brighter. Okay, but we will see actual examples. Hare Krishna.
So the key aspect here is Thai Bhava Shangarasa is in Madhura Rati. That's our key takeaway. And then there are different shlokas that are mentioned here. This we skipped last time, but these are different stages of Antakarana. And then what also probably mentioned here is Ras Leela in Bhagavatam is called Rasa Krida, or actually the play of Rasa, not just Leela, but it's a play and it's called a festival, Rasotsav. And Rasa signifies a multitude of Shringa Rasa, such as dancing, singing, kissing, and embracing. So there are different bhavas we cover, Vyabhichari Bhava, Anubhava, which we'll look further as well. Okay. And then this was the highlight of the upcoming chapters. I think we'll go through that. I don't have anything to revise or recap from here. Prabhuji, unless you think anything to be shared, I think I'm done.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji, I will have to step away for 7 to 10 minutes. I will be back. Please
Okay,
continue.
sure, I understand. It's okay. Yeah. So, anybody else wants to say anything before we start? Okay, so let me offer prayers first when we begin. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhavitam Scham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Namo Mahavadanya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha. O most magnificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you are freely distributing pure love of Krishna, and you've assumed the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani. We offer respectful obeisance unto you. Krishna Varnam Pisha Krishnam Sangapangostra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Sumedhasaha. Krishna Varnam Pisha Krishnam Sangapangostra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Sumedhasaha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregation chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. He is, although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Nana Sastra Vicharnaika Nipunau Shadadharma Samstapakau Loka Nama Hitakarinau Tribhuvane Manyau Sharanyakarau Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Anandena Mattalikau Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are engaged. They are engaged in taking shelter of Lord, and they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narom Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Prabhupada Jai Shri Govinda Mahadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami Hare Krishna. Okay, I'm sorry I was a little late. As I told you that this conflict have this academic course that goes simultaneously, you know. So we are not late that. Before I begin, anything anybody wants to say? Something? Hare Krishna. So let me first share my screen. Okay. Everybody's able to see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So in this first slide, what you see is lesson 62 to 65. Overall, this is the first thing. Chapter. This is now we are talking about chapter 29. Okay, the 48 verses. That is what we are going to be doing it, and we are going to do it in 4 sessions. Today and tomorrow is lessons 1 through 8, chapter 29, verses 1 through 18. And this is lesson 62 and 63. And today, what I've shown you is highlighted. It just generally was 1 to 9, tomorrow 10 to 18. But it's not hard and fast, depending upon a topic what you're talking about. And a particular Acharya's commentary we are going to talk about, this is a little fuzzy, okay? We might do it differently. So as you can see, this chapter 29 is really the bulk of the entire the foreplay or the setting the stage for Rasa dance. So it's a very, very significant, very important, and the Acharya's commentaries exceeds 200 pages long. And I had a real challenge how to compress into doable number of slides that can be done within our allotted class time. Okay, so I've used a very different approach that you might have noticed it in preparing my PowerPoints. So tomorrow we'll continue this verses 10 through 18. So that will be lesson 63. Today's 62, but there are no hard and fast dividing line in between, okay? And then later on, we will continue the other lessons, which will take rest of the chapter 29 verses. But I see by and large, these first 18 verses of chapter 29, that takes bulk of the chapter, really half of it. Okay, so here is the first of all, I need to give you the rundown, the overall picture before we dive into deeper. Okay, so you already heard me give last week, giving an overview introduction to the entire Panchadhyay. So everybody by now must be clear what is Panchadhyay. Pancha means 5, Adhyay means chapter. So that's a set of 5 chapters that is called Panchadhyay. Okay. So introduction, that is Panchadhyay Rasa Leela, that is what it is. But then we will talk about a little bit about the introduction of this chapter 29 itself. Okay. So today we largely focus, but not exclusively, in the first 9 verses that sets the stage. Okay. That's why it is on foreplay. So here, some very, very important, significant themes that we'll be discussing. And the Acharyas seem to have focused largely on this aspect of it. And good thing that we were talking about Alambana and Uddipana. So here we are going to do the example that sometimes Krishna is Uddipana and other things are Alambana. So here the 4 factors are there, your 4 factors that causes, so that means that's Alambana, stimulating factors, okay, and that made Krishna to decide, realize that he is now going to enjoy conjugally with the gopis, and there are reasons that given there, and then he takes mentally shelter of his Yogamaya potency, which is his internal potency, who arranges his pastimes, Leela. Okay, she is the one who causes everything. Okay, so after making that decision, he blows. Well, blows is not a right word. Blows means conch shell. Here he's not blowing conch shell. He's playing his flute in a very, very ingenious manner, very beautifully. His flute played a major role, actually, you know, and through his flute music, in fact, he sings a song in a particular tone, meter, raga, you know, that we will see. Special raga is there, okay? Ananga raga. Musicians probably know better, I think. I'm not a musician. To call the gopis. So he literally summons the gopis. In the middle of the night, he plays his flute in the forest, okay? And the gopis, whatever they were doing, everything they left as it is, and they ran towards that. And there are different classes of gopis are there that we will learn. And some of them were stopped, prevented living from there. We will see what happens to them who couldn't see Krishna, okay? They gave up their body and their spiritual body, they meet Krishna afterwards, okay? So that is part A, and then that's subpart A, and subpart B. Here we are going to be talking about the young girls. They left everything, whatever they are doing in the midst of that. They rush to meet Krishna in the forest in the midnight, okay? This is what is called Uddipana now. So here in this case, Krishna is Alambana when he plays that flute, that stimulate that love in the heart of the gopis, and they react to it. So that is called Uddipana, okay, practical sense. So third sub part that we'll see in very insignificant part also. There are various groups of gopis that we will hear about that, okay. The two broad groups are the Nitya Siddhas and the Sadhana Siddhas, Sadhana Bhakti Siddhas, spiritual practice by which they become perfect beings, okay. So here we will hear the Acharya's commentaries largely, but with one exception, first 9 verses only, okay. But this one exception is Sridhar Swami Maharaj, because not much commentary gives. So I combine his particular commentary, all 18 verses. We'll do it today, okay. And by and large, it is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the most extensive commentary. It was really large, very large. And generally I combine Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami's summaries, because Sanatana Goswami's commentary comes in his book, Brihad Vaishnava Toshani. And that same book, he gave Srila Jiva Goswami's nephew to edit it. So by way of editing, he then published a smaller version of that. It's called Laghu Vaishnava Toshani. So there is Jiva Goswami's comments. So generally I mix these two, but today in this particular session, I will segment it. Okay, we will first hear also after I'm done with Sridhar Swami Maharaj commentary, and that's usually Sridhar Swami Maharaj, even though he gives in a very summarized way, but some of the points they get expanded by our acharyas later. So we'll see how Sanatana Goswami expands on that, but he, by and large, he has very high regard for Sridhar Swami Maharaj. So he keeps as it is, and then he gives viewpoints, okay? So sometimes Sridhar Swami Maharaj has a slight Advaita Vedanta slant, which Jiva Goswami vehemently opposes. So when he edits Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Vaishnava Toshani, he removes that part of it, and that's called Laghu Vaishnava Toshani. So we will, in this particular situation, we'll do separately. You'll hear me speak first Sanatana Goswami's commentary, and then I will do separately Srila Jiva Goswami, and you will know the differences between the two, okay? And then we will discuss about Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, and by and large, he's very clear, very extensive, and he writes in a very simple language, so it's very easy to understand, but it's voluminous, okay? So I had to really, compress it. Only major points I'll talk about it, okay? So that today will be the first 9 verses, except with the Sridhar Swami Maharaj. All 18 verses we'll discuss. And tomorrow we'll continue from verses 10 through 18. And here again also, there are 3 subparts. Those gopis who were prevented, the focus is on them. What happened to them when Krishna summons through flute music, and he specifically addresses each of the gopis, actually, So by and large, Nitya Siddhas had no problem, they escaped, because we learned from Sri Gopala Champu, remember, that Yogamaya had already created doubles. Only the shadow gopis were the one who were married to other gopas. Real gopis were not there, okay? And they seem to coexist to same time, but the gopas didn't realize that. Gopas thought that their wives, the gopis, were with them, but actually those were the shadow gopis. Real gopis go there, okay? And among the real gopis, those were the one who were perfect, Nitya Siddhas, and they freely left to meet Krishna. But it is the other gopis who are sadhana siddha, again within sadhana siddha also subgroups. Those gopis were not yet perfection. Sadhana siddha, but not yet to the perfection. Those were the one who were prevented by their husbands, their in-laws, and those who were unmarried gopis were prevented by their fathers, okay? And by the way, those gopis, those young gopis, unmarried gopis, Kumarikas, who worship goddess Katyayani to have Krishna as their husband, whose garments were stolen by Krishna, all that we heard about it, those are Nitya Siddhas, okay? They come. Okay, so when Parikshit Maharaj heard of those gopis who were prevented, who were not yet perfected totally to the perfect stage, and they still had a vestibule of some impurities are there, and they really became wives of the gopas. Unlike other gopis, they had only shadow gopis that they had relationship, but the real gopis, they did not have any kind of sexual contact, okay, with the gopas. But those gopis who were not yet purified completely, they actually had relationship with the gopas, intimate relationship, and they had children with them, okay? So clearly they were not the one who were qualified to have conjugal rasa with Krishna. That's why Yogamaya prevented them. But then they still had prema for Krishna tremendously, and they really struggled to escape from their husbands and so on like that. And when they couldn't do it, they gave up their body. And it is their spirit soul with the spiritual form, they get to meet Krishna. Okay. So we'll talk about that first subsection, verses 10 through, actually it is 10, 11, 12. Those are the verses which talks about that. That's a very significant part that we must carefully hear about it, okay? And there are some very important instructive points that we must pay attention to it. So those gopis who were prevented to live, abandoned their gross material bodies. They gave up that. There's a very huge discussion about that by our acharyas. And you'll see, only you are the judge how successfully I was able to compress, to do it in a class time. Okay, several time constraint. But I found this thing very, very significant. And here is the why Parikshit Maharaj was puzzled. How could these gopis could have partial impurities? Impurity in the sense, the mode of Rajaguna and Tamaguna, okay? And that he couldn't understand that. And that's why he asked his spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami, to explain that. So we will hear that in subpart B. In the final section, how when the gopis who were able to escape, who does come in the forest and come to Krishna, and Krishna greets them, welcomes them, and so on like that. And then the next week, we will hear how Krishna engages. He is the one who summoned them, and then he gives a big lecture that they violated Vedic injunctions. It's not appropriate for them to leave their family, leave everything behind, and come to meet a young boy like him in the middle of the night in the forest. So they ought to go back. And the gopis were really perplexed, very, very perplexed, you know. So that we will do later part next week, okay? This is the way rundown. So now we will hear about what set the stage upon perceiving the time, place, and the person. Time is the autumn night, and the most brightest moon that Sharad Purnima, Margashesha month, autumn, and there's a huge description about the forest beauty is given there, and Krishna was really affected, was attracted by that, and that was this contributing factor that is called Alambana, and Uddipana, it was Krishna's term. So this is one example, Sharad Prabhuji, that it is, the role is reversed, okay? So Krishna at that time, so forest, so that's a place, time, midnight, brightest moon, and that moon also has a significance. The moon is, as you know, is the one who started this Chandrabamsha, moon dynasty for the Yadus. So that's very significant in that regard. And the person are the gopis, especially those unmarried gopis that Krishna had promised them that you will fulfill your dream, you will meet me, and you will enjoy with me. So that promise also he wanted to fulfill. So 3 or 4 factors are there that we will hear about that, okay? So I've given you the first verse. Shri Badarayani Uvacha. And that itself, our acharyas defined that. Why is that Badarayani Uvacha? Uvacha means the one who speaks. Badarayani is Sukadeva Goswami. So why he is addressed as Badarayani, acharyas explained. Badarayani, according to Sanskrit grammar, the way it is composed, that means he is the son of Badarayana. Badarayana, son is Badarayani. Okay. And why is Vyasadeva, who is his father, is called Badarayani? Because his ashrama, his Badrika ashrama up in the Himalayas. Actually, under the Badarayani Jambu tree, you know, that's the word, Sanskrit word Badarayani. So here you see that Sri Badarayani said, Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, full in opulence. That is the very definition of Bhagavan. Bhagavan means, Bhaga means the opulence. Bhagavan, one means the one who has that. So he has the 6 kind of opulence in full, unlimited. That's the definition of what is called Bhagavan. Yet, upon seeing those autumn nights, and see that, you see the nights is a plurality. There's a S. That's I put it in highlight as a red letter, okay? Because that's what the Sanskrit word is there. Ratri is 3 is a short 3, right? And but here you see the 3 is in Dirghai, long. So according to grammatic rules in Sanskrit, that means plurality. But does it really one night or many nights? That it said that that particular night was equivalent to entire night of Brahma. And Brahma's one night, as you know, is very huge. 4.32 billion years, am I correct? Sharad Prabhuji, am I correct? That
Yes, Prabhuji, 400
Yeah.
crore.
32 billion years.
Yes,
Same
four-
equivalent is daytime. So
Yeah.
that means that many nights were spent there. But Avachya said no. For all those time, Krishna compressed it because he controlled both space and time. So that one night, on one sense, it is equivalent to Brahma's 4.32 billion nights, But here it's within one night he compressed that. Okay. So it has double meaning that. Scented with blossoming. So this is the beauty of the forest. The jasmine flowers, mogra, was in full bloom. Look at the Sanskrit word. Shri Badrayani Uvacha, Bhagavan api taratri. Bhagavan is Shri Krishna himself. Taratrihi, plurality. Sharado Utfalla Mallika. Sharada means the autumn. Utfalla means fully blossomed. It's unseasonable blossoming in the night, in the autumn, especially for that night that Yogamaya set it up. Mallika, that is the mogra, At the same time, lotus is also getting full bloom unseasonably. Diksha, Krishna seeing that, from that perceiving, Diksha, Rantu, that's why he decides that, okay? Manas Chakra, mentally, he seeks the shelter of Yoga Maya Upashrita. Yoga Maya is his internal potency who works exactly what Krishna decides, what Krishna desires. And here the way Krishna takes shelter, but you have to understand Yogamaya herself acts exactly what Krishna desires, internal desires. So Krishna here takes shelter of Yogamaya, but you have to understand the right perspective. So that is the verse, okay? So you'll see these 4 factors act as alambana. Okay? The time, place, very, very unique time. Autumn night, full moon, brightest moon in the entire year, Sharad Purnima. Okay, so that moon's beauty, and moon has a significance because moon is the one. And how does moon does that? Remember, this whole is created because of Krishna's desire for having this parakya bhav. Okay, so moon also does the same thing. Moon illuminates the eastern direction. Okay, and the eastern direction is actually Indra's wife, Jayanti. Okay, so that's exactly happened. Moon does affect Indra's wife, so it's a parakya bhav, and that's where the Krishna developed that kind of desire. Okay, and that's why Yogamaya arranged in that way. But in real sense, remember, we are still considering whether or not to have this skit play, but this time it's not going to be half an hour for 1 hour. If we all agree and we find a time, so it's a big if question is there, okay? But Sharad Prabhuji, whether or not we are going to do it, that we don't know. But assuming we are going to do it, you start writing the script for that. So during my presentations, you will hear all the arguments, the accusation against Krishna, and why these accusations are not right. What is his defense? So pay close attention to all these things, which should help you to write a powerful script. Okay. So that is the verse, and this verse is discussed at much great length. So here are the 4 themes that I came up with. The first theme is the description of this autumn night in Vrindavan forest, most beautiful in the nighttime Vrindavan, and that is all due to the arrangement of Yogamaya, characterized by blooming jasmine flowers, mogara, and this fragrance is coming through the light wind. It's called breeze, flowing over the Yamuna river. So it is not just flavor, but there is a moisture is also there. And it's blowing, and Krishna is able to experience that. And great Uddipana, Ullam, all these 3-4 factors are there that acts as alambana. And what made Krishna to decide its effect? Prajvalit Deepa is in the heart. That light, the lamp, is get lit and becoming brighter and brighter and brighter in his heart. That's when he took shelter of Yogamaya, and he decided that he wants to have this Shringar Rasa, to have conjugal pastime in a Parakya Bhav, and that's what Yogamaya arranges that for the Rasa dancer, okay, dance. And Krishna and our acharyas define exactly what is Rasa dance. Truly, it is Rasa Krida. So that's the first theme. Second theme, this setting is not just a physical space, but a manifestation of the divine harmony. So divinity and his pastime, they both go one simultaneously. Without the divinity, because this defies space and time both. The most unusual part of it, and this is what happens actually, so this is setting is not just a physical space, but a manifestation of the divine harmony both space and time. Brahma's opened, that's a whole night. Brahma's night is equivalent to earthly night, one night compressed, and so that harmony that surrounds Krishna. So that's the second theme. Third theme, why I'm defining at length, before we actually get to discuss those verses, I want you to get a clear overall picture. Okay, imagine yourself flying up in the sky, and you are getting an aerial view of the earth. Where this is taking place. Third theme, the nights described as the best of all forms of time. It never happened before, never happened will again. It happened only that particular night for the sake of Krishna's pleasure, that Yogamaya arranged that. Very unusual things happens there that normally doesn't happen. The nights are described as the best of all forms of time, suggesting that in the divine realm, that's what I call divinity. Divine realm, time transcends its ordinary limitations. See that? It can never happen. This is where the divinity is there. And whole this relationship is explained in my talk, the very first lecture that I gave last week was exactly this. When you see my PowerPoint, I hope at least some of you have had a chance to become familiarized. It's very complex, very lengthy, and each slide is packed to the brim with information. So I may or may not have enough time to go through all these things. And that's why I expect you to become familiarized, to get the maximum and enjoy the transcendental rasa. You will actually experience that rasa when you hear with that kind of bhava, then you will enjoy that. The nights are described as the best of all forms of time, suggesting that in the divine realm, the time transcends its ordinary limitation. It's not just 12-hour night. Brahma's 1,000 nights compressed in that time, okay? But it gives a feeling that's going to be that long. And gopis enjoying that, becoming a vehicle for the expression of love and devotion. So that love and devotion transcendental platform, how is it different from the mundane material platform? Because mundane, it sounds like that. Definitely, it sounds like that. Okay. But how does it differ? So this happens in the heart and the mind. This interaction between gopis and Krishna. It does not happen on a bodily platform. That's the one great distinction that you need to understand that. Okay. What is transcendental love? That is prema. And material lust, even though it is said that gopis lusted for Krishna, but that lust is not on a mundane platform. Why? Because it's happening at the level of heart and the mind. Because both Krishna and the gopis, they both have transcendental bodies. They don't have material bodies. We all know Krishna's body is same, soul is same, Sat Chit Ananda. But these gopis were also like that. Okay, I'm talking about Nitya Siddha gopis, okay? And large part Sadhana Siddha also, those who have become perfect. So their expression of love and devotion is on completely on a transcendental platform. And I'll keep repeating that various aspect of it when we discuss about the commentaries of our acharyas. Fourth and last part, not least, Krishna's choice to become, so that Uddipana becoming brighter and brighter and brighter. Lamp in his heart for the love, fulfill the desires of the gopis, okay? And that's where he decides. So then Krishna made a choice to engage in the rasa dance during the time that reflects the alignment. Why I'm saying one word, each word I'm paying so close focus on that. So we'll understand the significance of it, the weight of that significance. Okay? Reflects the alignment of the natural beauty with divine purpose, enhancing the significance of the events that unfold. Okay. Still, I've not come to the Acharya's comments. Okay, I'm still setting a stage for that. So, what are those three factors? Time, place, and persons. When somebody is going to recap, they're going to ask you this question. Okay, so be prepared. So, what are these three factors? These act as alambana, time, place, and persons. What is the time? That contributed to being a stimuli, that is alambana, that stimulates as if you're lighting a lamp. And lamp is being lit, that is the Uddipana. The Sanskrit word Uddipana itself, liking something. Uddipta. For Krishna to make up his mind for amorous pleasure, conjugal rasa. Uddipana, that is Uddipana. This is an exception. Yet Krishna is becoming Uddipana, okay? By and large, Krishna is usually Alambana, okay? So, Sharad Prabhu is not entirely wrong. By and large, he was right, but not perfectly right. Here is the exception that. So, this Alambana and Uddipana, as you heard when I reviewed Sri Ujjwala Nilamani, that are the true elements of Vibhava Rasa. First, Vibhava Rasa must take place. And that Vibhava then goes into various other rasas, okay? Vyavichari rasas, Sanchari bhavas, and so on like that. Anubhavas and so on like that. And these bhavas, they interact and then become stabilized in one particular rasa, bhava. And that bhava becomes rasa, okay? So this vibhava is very significant part of it. And the vibhava is considered of these two elements, alambana and uddipana. So, okay, so you understand the two elements of vibhava. Now moving on to the second sub-theme. So at that point, being affected of this stimuli, threefold stimuli, that becomes uddipana, and that uddipana is what? How Krishna reacts to it. Krishna mentally, yogamaya upashrita, okay, manas chakre, so he does things mentally. He mentally resorted to, so that is called upa ashrita. Ashrita means taking shelter, upashrita, right, following that. Manifesting in yogamaya. So he manifested yogamaya right there, and then his transcendental potency, his internal potency, okay, which is the expansion of Sri Radha. Our acharyas explained that actually Sri Radha is a pleasure potency, Ladini Shakti. Okay, the word is ahalada. Ahalada, shortly it becomes lada. Okay, so Ladini potency, the pleasure potency, the bliss, that aspect, Satchit Ananda, that Ananda potency is Sri Radha herself. Okay, that's the expansion. The reason is this, that Sri Radha is the ultimate cause of the rasa dance. Actually, when Krishna plays that flute, that message was primarily addressed to Sri Radha. So that is the play. That's what called Krida. Krida is a play. Radha, Rasa Krida is that, Rasa Krida. Even though the inclusion of several other gopis were there, no doubt about it. And Krishna may, in fact, address specifically by name each of the other gopis. So this is the opposite of what is expected, because by enjoying the wives of other men, so this is called Parakya Bhav particularly. But in reality, they're all his eternal consorts. So Sarvapati, note, this is the defense point. When he's being accused, Parikshit Maharaj is raising the doubt in how Krishna is the one who established religious principles. Paritranaya sadhunam vidanashaya duskam. So he is the one who set up those rules, regulations. Now he himself is violating, apparently. How is it? How do we understand that? Okay. So you have to understand that in reality, these gopis were his eternal consorts. And what supposedly they were wives, supposedly, is their shadow forms were the wives of the Gopas. So he is not really violating. So Prabhuji, note that, okay? But the prosecutor is going to look for the what meets the eyes. But what meets the eyes, not necessarily the truth. जो कुछ हम देखते हैं, जो कुछ हम सुनते हैं, that is not always right. Okay? So Parakya Bhav is particularly for that reason Yogamaya did that. It gives the appearance that he's enjoying with somebody else's wives. So this is the opposite of what is expected, because by enjoying the wives of other men, it looks like what? That Krishna is also like mundane people like us. That is Cupid, Kamadev, creates this Kama Krida, Kama desires to enjoy this carnal pleasure. So Krishna is also the slave of this Kamadev. But later on we'll be hearing he is the Kamadev of the Kamadev. Madana Mohana. Madana is the Kamadev. He even bewilders the Kamadeva himself. So he is the controller. And ultimately whole this Parakya Bhav is to incite renunciation. That's exactly the purpose. You believe it or not, it sounds quite contradictory. But that's exactly happened. The gopis gave up all these things. They renounced all the so-called worldly duties. So when we hear, no matter whatever kind of lust we may have in our heart, simply gets purified by hearing this particular Rasalila, this part of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why it says that that whatever on the material plane, when we hear this kind of very erotic story, that creates so much, the lust becoming increasingly brighter and brighter and brighter. But unlike that, when we hear Krishna's supposedly erotic phenomena, the heart becomes purified. All the lust now turns into prema, and that prema is on the transcendental platform. Not only Krishna and the gopis were in the transcendental platform, but our own heart, even though seemingly hearing erotic way, but actually it's getting purified. And ultimately we come to this kind of renunciation, retiring from those kama kriya. Okay. So that we learn he is ultimately the Cupid of the Cupids. Third point, the Rasa dancer took place in the middle of the Lord Krishna's night. And actually at that time, Krishna really became Kaishara. Even though he was less than 10 years old, he was around 8, 9 when they started. But the human standard, Krishna is always much more than the human standard, okay? The human time is around 14. Krishna was less than 10. The very first class of Brajak Leela when we started, I gave that all the equivalent human standard time, okay? The Rasa dance took place in the middle of Lord Krishna's Kaishara. So he was also respecting his Kaishara age, exactly what is expected when a teenager develops the feelings of love. So it was early part of his 14, 16, okay? Even though he was less than 10, because it is equivalent to appropriate human age of around 14. The incredible nights signify that those nights were the best of all forms of time and were imbued with rasa of the highest bliss. So this rasa will give a bliss. Okay, let's take a 5-minute break. I think break is essential. Because now we are going to get a more difficult part. Now we are going to get into the Acharya's comments, and each slide is packed with huge amount of information. Okay. So the space that I'm going to rush quite quickly. So this break is important so that you can really focus each and every word I speak. Okay. Haribol, let's set up. Any other points you want to ask? This is the time to ask. Okay. Something that cannot wait. During the discussion period time, we will discuss more detail. But something that I've already said, if you have a question to that, please feel free in this break time.
Hare Krishna.
Radhavina Prabhu, you need to take some rest.
Yeah. Prabhuji,
I can see you are very tired. You are very tired, or you must
No,
enough sleep.
I traveled from, I was in New York, Prabhuji. I was traveling whole day and I came here.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, Prabhuji, that's a nice thing you mentioned. And I was reading, I went through the slides which you sent. I could not understand most of the words, but I went through that. One word by word I went. So, as you mentioned that by hearing these pastimes of Lord, the gopis and Krishna, apparently looks like a lust increases, right? As you mentioned, but it, for a devotee, it purifies.
Yes.
So is that seeing that gopis to the level they go to get a love of Krishna, that triumphs everything else, and that is what lust goes and real prema develops. Is that the link there, Prabhuji?
No, their whole love, which seemed like lust, but it's all on the transcendental platform. I told you that. They act through their heart and the mind. It's not taken on a bodily platform. That's a big, huge difference. It's not the bodies act and react. It's the heart and the mind. All the rasas and everything is developing in the heart. The dance and everything. Even to the point it seemed like they're on a material plane. Because Krishna in the Ujjwal Nilamani, we heard that, right? In a very graphic terms. I don't want to use actual terms, but graphic terms. But again, that's again happening because their body is also on the spiritual platform. They don't have bodies like you and me. That's why it's purifying. If it's we hear mundane, erratic way, you know what happens to us, right? But this is not going to happen here. In fact, we get transcend even though we have material body, when we hear this past tense, because everything, material sex and everything happens because of the mode of passion, Rajoguna. This is all happening in the mode of pure love, pure goodness. There's a big difference. Yeah, other question points you have? Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much. That was very clear, the explanation about Uddipana and Alambana. But can I just ask one more question regarding the same thing?
Yeah, please feel free.
Can we say that Alambana is like a support, like Krishna is the support for the Uddipana to happen? I don't know, this came to my mind, and I was trying to distinguish between the two. What is exactly how does Alambana help Uddipana or Uddipana help Alambana? Why are they two?
Alambana is like something that stimulates, lighting a lamp.
But Uddipana is also the same, right?
Lamp being lit is Uddipana. So this is a very exceptional case. Those three factors, time, place, and person, they stimulate the feelings which is there already. But like you said, supporting, he's not supporting the sense, but that was his internal desire And that's the reason Yogamaya senses that, and
Yeah.
she arranges all these factors
Yeah.
that acts as seemingly alambana, but ultimately it's all Krishna. Ultimately it's all Krishna.
Okay.
Whatever Krishna desires, by his internal desires, the Vrindavan forest beauty is amplified billionfold.
Yeah.
The flowers are blooming unseasonably, that normally doesn't happen in the midnight. That happened. So these are, on the surface, looks like alambana, but real sense, it's all Krishna made those things happen through his Yogamaya potency. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Prabhu.
So you are partially correct. And
Okay.
so is Sarat Prabhuji partially correct.
Partially. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
This the way it is being presented as if these three factors are the alambana, but you think deeperly, much deeper, then it's all Krishna's desire is happening because of what Krishna desires. All right. Shall we
Yes.
continue
Prabhu.
that? Shall
Yes.
we continue?
Yes.
Prabhuji, it is also called as, matlab, both are interconnected. Uddipana and
Yeah,
Alambana.
of course, they are both Uddipana and Alambana, they are interconnected
Yes.
because Alambana sets this Uddipana. Okay, let's continue. So again, now I'm coming to the Acharya's comments. Okay, so again, I'm going to preview what you are going to hear. So there are sevenfold things happening. Okay, so we are going to talk first about. Here it says that Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami, but first we'll talk. So this is the one exceptional case here, that now we are going to hear all entire chapter 29. I'm going to segregate precisely Sanatana Goswami's comments versus Jiva Goswami's comments. Sanatana Goswami's comment I've taken it from this Brihad Vaishnava Toshani, and Jiva Goswami's comments I took it from his Laghu Vaishnava Toshani. Okay, although Laghu Vaishnava Toshani came from Sanatana Goswami. So what Jiva Goswami did actually, he filtered away all that Sanatana Goswami took it from Sridhar Swami Maharaj. Whatever that, largely it was kept intact, but whatever that was seemingly on a Madhvaita Advaita Vedanta point of view, that Jiva Goswami filtered it out. Okay. So 7 elements that we are going to hear. Okay. Again, I'm going to giving a preview of those commentaries. Okay. Once we get into it, we are going to move at a breakneck speed. Okay. So pay very, very close attention to what I speak. Significance of Shukadeva Goswami being referred to as Badrayani, that we already heard, so I will not go into deeper. What is going deeper is this. I already explained to you, his Badrayani means he's the son of Badrayana. Who is Badrayana? Is Vyasadeva. Why? Because he performed austerities at Badrika Ashrama, okay, in the Himalayas, okay, at the bank of Mandakini River. Mandakini is part of Ganga actually. And that created Prema Rasa. Please pay attention, okay? And that Prema Rasa, transcendental love. So in order to experience this Prema Rasa, you have to be in a Bhakti Rasa platform as a listener, okay? Then you'll be able to experience the taste of this Prema Rasa. It dictates, automatically follows, because both Srila Vyasadeva and his son Sukadeva Goswami are on the platform Prema Rasa. So when we hear their description, it is also Prema Rasa. So in order to experience that Prema Rasa, you must be on a bhakti platform, devotional platform, and you must have had heard the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the significance of Prema Rasa now it's clear, right? The word Badrayani. Then second part is divine timing and setting. I told you that this, which normally doesn't happen that way. the things that happened that particular night in Vrindavan forest, its beauty is increased billion-fold. The flowers that don't bloom unseasonably getting full bloom. The moon was the brightest one. Okay. So there's all divine time in setting, which normally doesn't take place. Okay. And it's all because of Yogamaya. And Yogamaya did that because of Krishna's desire. Significance of Yogamaya Upashrita. This happens mentally. Manas Chakra. And the allure of Krishna's playing his flute. And that we'll hear in a few moments, okay? He plays the Ananga Raga. What is Ananga Raga? You will hear shortly. And he creates that kind of feeling in the heart of the gopis. They gave up everything. They become renunciation. That's why we also become renunciate, okay? Everything, whatever they are doing in the middle of it, milk is boiling over. Some of the gopis were serving their husband and so on like that. There were some of the babies, some they were nursing their babies. Again, it's not the babies of their own. Okay. The allure, so that is the whole allure of Krishna's flute playing that effect. He is directly saying something, personal message to each of the gopis. Largely focused on Sri Radhe. Radhe's name is not given anywhere in Bhagavatam, you know that, right? Fifth point, abandonment and devotion. So they abandon whatever things they are doing. They renounce all so-called material things. Even the Vedic injunctions, they renounce for the pleasure of Krishna. So that is devotion. And the different categories of gopis that you will hear, very, very significant element of this discussion. And last but not least is the obstacles in divine union. What happens, what kind of obstructions they faced when Krishna summoned them in the midnight and they were prevented by their family members. Nityasiddhas had no problem to escape. Sadhana Siddha also, large part they escaped, but some of them did not. And what are the reasons for that? And what actually happens? There's a large segment of commentaries there is focused on that. So here in the right side is this significance of these points. These comments delve into the intricate layers of devotion. So just like onion has the different layers, right? So one by one layers each are getting, we are going deeper and deeper. Outermost layer, going step by step, innermost layer, okay? So these layers of devotion, divine play. So there is a Aishwarya is involved at, okay? And the transcendental nature of love in the context of Krishna's pastimes. Overall, these themes interweave to create a rich complexity of devotion, illustrating how divine love manifests in various forms and how it calls to the individual. So when he plays a flute, it's not just he playing a particular music or song, okay? It has a particular significance. And some of the things that he plays, of course, it sounds like the sound will go all over the village, right? He's saying in the forest and the village, Braja, everybody's able to hear, we would think, right? But no, the divine Aishwarya is there. It was heard by those that particularly they were addressed, not others. So that's where divinity comes. A normal material platform that can never happen. Impossible. But that's what Yogamaya is saying, that Yogamaya is one potency that can make impossible things possible. Impossible material platform, but a transcendental platform, it's possible. And that's exactly what we see exemplified. Rasadasa serves as a profound metaphor. You know what is metaphor? It's like analogy, right? But it's a profound form of analogy for the soul's eternal longing for connection with the divine, the longing of the gopis for Krishna, longing of the bhaktas for Bhagavan, and we are devotees. So that longing is created in our heart when we simply hear. What is preventing us from coming to that platform is Rajaguna and Tamaguna. When we hear this pastime between Krishna and the gopis, simply hearing that Shrimadam Sukata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, it is all Punya. But when we simply hear, Krishna himself takes away the factors that prevent us coming to this platform. The Rajaguna and Tamaguna, whose outer manifestations, Kama, Krodha, Kama, these lusty feelings, all these things, is that whole seed reasoning behind that Rajaguna, he removes that and converts into Sattva. Only through Sattva Gunas, the eyes, the vision of the Sattva Guna, then we come to the transcendental platform. Unless and until we come to Sattva Guna, we can never come to here. But that is the potency, that Aishwarya is acting on us also when we hear that. So the Rajaguna is the effect of Rajaguna is removed. Tada Rajastama Kama Bhava Lobhaha Adayasche Chet Anar Eter Annaviddam uncovers. Sattvam Sthitam Prasidhati. And in the place of Rajaguna and Tamaguna, Sattva Guna is established. And then we come to the Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Prayojita. Then we come to the pure Bhakti platform. And then Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, pure science of Krishna, pure relationship with the gopis that he has. Then we can see that vision is given to us, Divya Chakshu. So that is the purification. So now the comment starts, okay? Shuka is the son of Bhadrayan. Now we heard, so I won't repeat that. Prema Rasa, what is Prema Rasa? Is the emotional and spiritual nectar that nourishes the souls. The spirit soul's nourishment comes from this Prema Rasa. So it is both a means, that means sadhana or practice, and sadhya, perfection. Sukadeva Goswami's role as the narrator of Krishna's pastime is very, very significant, pivotal, as it conveys that the stories are not merely historical account. Yes, historically it happened, but it's not limited to just historical account, but living expression of spiritual. Whatever there, it was truth. Even today, this segment, this minute also, it's true. And it will be true from time immemorial, in the past, present, future. So by hearing this, because everything is spiritual, and spiritual has no limitations. On the material plan, we have this past, present, future, right? But on the spiritual platform, there is no past, no future. Everything is present. Everything is present. By hearing this narration with selfless bhakti, unless until you chant Hare Krishna, it will never go in your heart. Devotees can cultivate their own experience of this love, making the stories transformative. What is transformative? The heart becomes transformed. What are the lusty things? Dirt in your heart. On the mirror of heart, Krishna polishes that. The heart becomes reflective. Okay, here comes the complex slide. Now, here onwards, you will see this complexity. Large amount of information is there, okay? So I'm going to go relatively fast. So I already set the stage, okay? So you know what's going on. First, we read the top portion, and this is where I expected you to become familiarized with the slide. So when I speak in a rapid way, you would not miss a single word. The intricate layers of devotion, they're peeling over the layers of onion, okay? You see, divine play and the transcendental nature of love in the context of Krishna's pastimes, particularly rasa dance, In summary, these themes interview, you know what is the interview, right? To create a rich tapestry means the complexity of devotion, illustrating how divine love manifests in various forms and how it calls to individuals. This Bansari flute, when he sings, that voice goes specifically to that particular gopi that is addressed to, okay? And they only recognize that. Even though others may or may not hear, they will not get affected. And that is Krishna. Pursue their spiritual essence. The Rasa dancer serves as a profound metaphor for the soul's eternal longing. So the Rasa dancer, you have to think from that point of view. How hard you cultivate in the footstep of these Ragatmika Bhaktas. Okay. That's where this eternal longing for Krishna. Why we are saying, keep saying that I've been chanting for last 10 years and I still cannot get affected, is because of that. Okay, now we'll go one by one. So we'll begin with number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And I also given what particular theme is given in that. Okay. So Shuka and a Prema Rasa. I won't go into this because I already discussed that. Second point, divine timing and setting. And that is the autumn night, characterized by blooming jasmine, mogra flowers. And you know, mogra, they have a very wonderful fragrance, mogra flowers, okay, of the full moon and the brightest moonlit night. It creates romantic feeling, you know. The beauty of nature reflects the divine play. And the peacocks, the deer, they all enjoy these things, even though in the midnight, which normally wouldn't happen, right? But here that's happened. And enhance the emotional intensity of pastime. The nights are described as the best of all forms of time. That's all this divinity comes into play. Yogamaya is precisely carrying out what is Krishna's heart says, desires. Yogamaya's role. That means now comes to Yogamaya. What does Yogamaya do that? Now, how does she do that? Yogamaya represents Krishna's internal potency that facilitate his divine pastime. Whatever Krishna desires, even though no matter how seemingly impossible, his Yogamaya potency make it possible. The potency allows Krishna to orchestrate exactly Krishna desires. Step by step, everything happens precisely what Krishna wants to see. Okay? Interactions with gopis, ensuring that they experience the full depth of love. That's what Krishna desires, that he wanted to fulfill. He wanted to fulfill the desires of the gopis. They wanted to have Krishna as their husband, right? Enjoy, right? But here, from gopis' point of view, they wanted to give pleasure to Krishna. That's what's the understanding part of it, you know. Yogamaya serves as bridge. So that's what Yogamaya does, a role, bringing together Krishna and the gopis in a perfect environment. Exactly the way they desire, what their desires are in their heart. Yogamaya simply bridges them, put them together. Moving to this side, the allure of the Krishna's flute. Now you hear very carefully. The tremendous skill of Krishna, the way he plays flute. And Sharad Prabhu, you already described, he has different kinds of flute. Okay. The flute particularly he plays on that particular night, Ananga Raga, he uses particular Bansi flute. Unless I'm wrong, that's a 12-hole flute, I think. Krishna's flute symbolizes the call of divine love that draws the souls, like the gopis, towards him. They, just like a magnet, all the iron fillings are completely rushed into the magnet. Here, that's what exactly happens. The sound of the flute is described as charming and infused with divine sweetness, making it irresistible. What is irresistible? You cannot resist, but simply being pulled away towards the magnet. This allure represents the profound spiritual awakening that occurs when one hears the call of the divine. Gopis leave everything, they renounce everything, even the Vedic injunctions. Nothing is too good for Krishna. Gopis respond to the flute's melody signifies the awakening of their spiritual consciousness, illustrating how divine interaction can transcend all barriers. No matter what we face in life, difficulties, they are mundane. If we pay off Krishna, all these illusory things from our life will disappear. Disappear, you don't react to it. Everything will come, stay for a while, and go away. So that kind of things you should develop. I'm saying this thing, but I also need to cultivate that. Okay, I'm going to have to be dead honest about it. It takes time. But this is what the power and potency of this, what we are going to hear in the next few weeks. Abandon. So what happens as a result of that? How Gopis did that? They abandoned everything, whatever they were doing. The Gopis' instant abandonment of their duties, whatever their duties as a wife, okay, as daughters, everything is given up that because they are all in material platform. When it comes to Krishna, it takes precedent of anything else that you did. Even though seemingly said that how could they leave nursing babies in between and they leave the babies? But what is Swadharma? What is Parodharma? In Bhagavatam, first chapter, first canto, second chapter, and I think verse 6 or 6, I think it is Parodharma. Ahetuki, apratihata. That's what is defined that. Swadharmas are very important. But when it comes to Parodharma, when it comes to Krishna, if you do that, your Swadharmas are already taken care of that. So the Gopis' instant abandonment of the so-called duties and responsibilities reflects the transformative power of love, Krishna Prema, that transforms everything. Their willingness to set aside social norms in pursuit of Krishna illustrate the depth of their devotion. Yudhishthira never spoke lies. But that particular day, Krishna said, now say Narova Kunjarva. So in material ethics and morality, he committed offense, right? But whatever Krishna says, the codes of morality and ethics, that is the real one that Sanjaya said at the end of Bhagavad Gita, right? He asked Arjuna, shoot, now is the time to kill Karna. Karna was just changing the will because his wheel of his chariot was stuck in the mud and he was without weapon that time. Kshatriya rule was there at that time, you cannot shoot him. But Krishna said, now this is the time. Bhishmadeva, how he was killed? Because Arjuna put ahead of him this Amba, who took this form, would look like a woman's form, and Bhishmadeva would not shoot at a woman. So he was also killed unlawful way. But that is not what Krishna, whatever Krishna said, that his devotees did that, follow that exactly. So this is what is intended right here. Sincere feelings, whether longing or fulfillment, play a crucial role in spiritual growth in connection with the divine. So this is all these seemingly obstacles that we have in our path is automatically going to remove, because this is happening. Anything, whatever things you do for Krishna, that's what it is. The gopis struggle against familiar, and so example is given that here. It's not imaginary things. Gopis did come across with severe limitations. How they met, that is a learning, instructive lessons for us. Societal expectations, showcases of tension between worldly duties and spiritual aspirations. So this is what happens actually. Krishna had already decided the outcome of the Mahabharata war. But she still tells Arjuna. Arjuna wanted to renounce everything, right? No, you are a fighter, warrior. So, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, at all times, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, mam smara yudhyacha. So when you're faced with this kind of difficulty, dichotomy, I should go left or I should go right, or what should I do? In that kind of situation, you do for the sake of Krishna. Mam's yudh, mam smara. First you remember him and do whatever thing, but unlike before you are doing for yourself, you do it for me. Then the elements of that which anchors you to the ground of material platform, it removes and you become free. Okay, now next slide. So what we heard is the comments of Sanatana Goswami. What I just read. Now we'll hear the comments of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and we'll hear shortly about Jiva Goswami also. Okay, so these verses beautifully elaborate on the Rasa Leela and the deep spiritual and emotional significance of Krishna's pastimes with gopis in Vrindavan. The description highlights the enchanting interplay of love, devotion, and divine ecstasy that characterizes these moments. The concept of gopis' attraction to Krishna, driven by his flute's call, and we are going to actually hear all this thing in great detail later on, okay, illustrates the profound connection between the divine and the devotee. So this interaction is taking place. Don't think like it's Krishna and the gopis. Okay. Think about gopis were devotees of Krishna, and Krishna being the divine. Okay. Emphasizing that true love transcends societal norms and personal duties, so-called our duties that we have. But when Krishna, whatever Krishna asks you, transpires you, give internal sixth sense that dictates you, you follow that. The gopis abandon of their responsibilities, so-called responsibilities on the material platform, but they transcend that. To Krishna's call signifies the ultimate surrender, and that is called Sharanagati. Okay. To divine love, showcasing their pure devotion and the transformative power of the Krishna's presence. The narrative intricately weaves together various elements, such as the beauty of the autumn night, the blooming of the flowers out of season, and the irresistible call of the Krishna's flute. All this, obviously you can see everything is happening on the transcendental platform. Normally it cannot happen. On the material platform, it cannot happen. It defies the very laws of nature. But when Krishna and the Yogamaya is concerned, nothing is impossible. Irresistible call of Krishna's flute, painting a vivid picture of the divine romance. The reference to the moon and its role in enhancing the atmosphere of love further enrich the context, symbolizing the nurturing aspect of Krishna's personality. So that nurturing aspect, you understood everything, nurturing what? something that nurtures, something that nourishes. Soul's nourishment comes from that satisfaction to what Krishna desires. There is the ultimate satisfaction of the soul. So when we do something on a bhakti platform, that's when the soul truly becomes very happy. When the soul becomes happy, you become happy. Moreover, the commentary on the gopis being both Nitya Siddhas and Sadhana Siddhas provides insight to their spiritual strength. You'll see a slide also, okay? The classification of the gopis, emphasizing that their love for Krishna is both innate. Innate means something already there, as if like this is right in your DNA, and cultivate through devotion. So this duality of existence highlights the complexity and depth of the relationship. We cannot understand the intimate relationship the gopis have with Krishna that Divya Chakshu is required, with the divine, reinforcing the idea that true love is both a natural inclination and conscious practice. Mark all these words. It took a whole night I was up when I was writing this thing. Rasa Panchadhyaya, collectively encapsulate the essence of bhakti. So this is the essence of bhakti. When we simply hear, it purifies our heart. With the hearts, because this love is taking place at the level of heart. The rasas, emotions always develop in the heart, fostering an environment where spiritual and emotional fulfillment coexist harmoniously. What is harmoniously? They are not defying each other. They work together in concert. The discourse on the philosophical implications of Krishna's actions serve as a reminder of the richness of devotional literature, inviting readers to explore the layers of meaning embedded within this sacred text. Mark all these words that came up with this to prepare this thing, It's all divine inspiration. Another very complex slide, and we are almost time. But I hope you read beforehand, okay? So I'm going to read top portion, significant things I'm going to read, not everything. Look at what is written on the top. That gives the gist of everything, okay? And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's is most detailed and clear-cut, easily understandable way. This passage, if you read the book itself, you will never understand that. It's put in a very difficult language. And I try to put it in a simple language. The passage of deals with it into this profound relationship between Lord Krishna and the gopis, emphasizing the unique nature of their love, and the ecstatic experience that arises from it. It highlights the idea that Krishna's actions are motivated by the desire to bring happiness to the gopis, which in turn fulfills him. So both each other are trying to please each other, gopis and Krishna. Krishna's desire was to give fulfillment of their desires, and gopis wants to make enjoy Krishna. The descriptions of the rasa dance and the various emotions associated with it illustrate deep spiritual connection and transcendence of material desires. Most important, all material desires will dissipate. I told you that my hypothesis calls for what? When this bhakti is an environmental signal that triggers rearranging the readout of the genes. Those genes which encode desirable elements of human personality, they're getting turned on. And those genes which affects our personality to work on a material platform are selectively turned off. So that really that which is, satisfy the personality traits that are conducive for bhakti, rendering bhakti, that develops. All this writing came because of that. Krishna is dictating me, and I'm writing all these things. Everything what my eyes caught, my heart felt, is being written in these words. Divine love and happiness. Relation between Krishna and the gopis illustrates the essence of divine love. This divine love has to be experienced. We may or may not understand now, but eventually we will. But whether or not we understand now, it's immaterial. You keep reading, keep hearing, until the heart becomes purified. We cannot understand, but gradually, believe it, heart will become purified, and you will understand what it is saying. Krishna's nature in the night. Krishna's nature in the night. So according to his desire, the night becomes cooperative. The full moon symbolizes purity, illumination, and auspiciousness, aligning with Krishna's divine nature. So moon also follows exactly what Krishna is. Everything else in the minutest thing cooperates, exactly acts what Krishna desires. That is all by Yogamaya's arrangement. The flute's call. Now hear that. Very, very interesting. Krishna's flute is a powerful metaphor for divine communication. He really literally communicates through his flute. And he's in the forest, gopis are in the village, Braja. Okay. And each gopis get their own message. Even the whole village hears that flute, but they don't get it. The music is not, so this cannot happen on a material platform. That's why Krishna's Aishwarya is there. But his Aishwarya is acting on the platform of transcendental love. So he's a Samanvaya, very wonderful way of, normally on such a bhakti platform, Aishwarya is separate, right? But here Aishwarya is acting exactly what is being dictated to act on the devotional platform. So that's what you have to see. This is one good example how Krishna's Aishwarya, whenever he manifests, that promotes the devotee, is gopi's love for him, longing for him. So this is spiritual practice, like chanting and meditation. Selective perception. The gopis' inability to pursue anyone else while being drawn to Krishna illustrates the concept of divine focus. This selective perception indicates how deep love can create a singular focus on the beloved's, leading to a transcendence of the mundane world. See that? It reflects the idea that true devotion can elevate one's consciousness, making them oblivious to distractions, all the material things that distract us, that are selectively taken away from our life. Oh, I have to beat this deadline. Oh, I have to finish this assignment. My boss has dictated me. If I don't do it, what will happen? I may lose my job or what? All these things are going to be completely taken care of if you take care of your Krishna conscious duties. What we call come from within the depth of your heart, that tells you what you need to do. You follow that. Abandonment of duties. So that's what gopis did, that. Everything they give up. Intense eagerness, with great eagerness. Utsahan, Nishchay, Dhairya, Tat Karma Pravartanat. These are the basic prerequisite elements to come to Krishna conscious platform. Again, Utsahan, great enthusiasm. Nishchayat, great determination, fire in your belly. Dhairya, necessary patience. Tat Karma Pravartanat, follow in the footsteps of our senior acharyas, their teachings. Everything is taken care of. Yogamaya's role, we already heard that. Spellbound gopis. Now see the spellbound, how gopis become stunned. And this is one of the Vyabhichari bhavas actually. स्तब्ध हो जाते हैं. The gopis' enchantment and lack of hesitation in moving forward, Krishna illustrates the profound impact of divine love on the human heart. Being spellbound signifies a state of surrender where the soul is completely absorbed in the divine presence. This invites reflection on the transformative power of love. So such love, that love which breaks apart between lovers, then it's not on a spiritual platform. If it is on a transcendental platform of pure love, that love never dies. Anything which is spiritual, that never dies. That love which breaks relationship, that's not on the spiritual platform. Okay, now the different classes of gopis now. So this is probably the end of it. Categories of Braja gopis. So there are, broadly speaking, there are two large classes, okay? One is Nityasiddhas, who are Nityasiddhas perfect since time immemorial. They descend straight from the Goloka Vrindavan Dham, okay? Radharani is the embodiment of that. And the Gopakanyas, unmarried girls, they also followed this particular class, okay? And here, the Sadhana Siddha, again, there are two Yutiki, they have a particular group, and that which is not in a group, okay? But we are focused on the one in the group. So there are also two classes, Shrutichari and Rishichari. Shrutichari, the personified Vedas, they become gopis. They take birth from the gopis' womb in Braja, and they become sadhana siddha by devotional practice. And the Rishichari, those rishis, when Srila Ramachandra was in Dandaka Aranya, when they saw Krishna, Ramachandra, they were very much attracted, but Ramachandra was Ekapatni Varta. So that those rishis, Yogamaya brought them and had them take birth from Rajakanyas, Rajagopis, and they become gopis. Okay. The text discusses how certain sages, upon seeing Lord Rama, develop desire for Krishna, and thus reborn as gopis in Gokula. And this transformation illustrates the connection between their previous spiritual pursuits and their eventual elevation to the status of gopis. Okay? So becoming a gopi is a great fortune actually. So one class is attachment and spiritual bodies, they become the spiritual bodies they get. The other is longing for Krishna. So these two now we'll discuss later tomorrow. Yeah, and we'll continue from this point of view. We'll focus on those gopis, they were prevented to escape because they still had little bit tinges of impurities. And because of that, they were not shadow gopis, they were themselves because of that. And they were the one who intimately associated with their Gopa husbands and their children. So they were not qualified to come to Krishna, you know. Nonetheless, because of their prema, they gave up their lives because fathers would not allow them to live. And their spiritual forms then got united with Krishna. Okay, so this takes part of today's. Okay, so I went 10 minutes over. So now it's open for discussion. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow we will take a very significant part of it tomorrow, okay? But today was like a preview. This is the way we are going to go through all the Panchadhyay. So you need to become familiarized because each of the slides are going to be packed with a lot of information. And everything I cannot do in the allotted our class time. So I am going to have to hit highlights, just like I did today. Okay? Everything I cannot read. Hi, Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. So wonderful class, Prabhuji. So nicely explained, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam. प्रभूजी नित्य सिद्धा जो गोपियां है वो नहीं, श्रुतिचारी जो गोपियां है वो साधना नित्य सिद्ध क्यों नहीं कह सकते उनको?
क्योंकि
जो
they were not
personify
on
Veda.
that they were not on that platform because their spiritual practice they become purified, you know. So rishis were still on the material platform, then but because of their wish for Krishna, Yogamaya arranged them in their next life to born from the Vraja's wombs, Vraja Gopi's wombs, and they become Vraja Gopi in that life. So it was by spiritual practice. Again, then not all of them become complete sadhana siddha. Okay, some remain, and those were the one which will focus tomorrow on that, those gopis. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you so much for a wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, in your last but before the slide, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Yogamaya's role when he's explaining, like when you touch this Bhagavad Gita also, like the Yogamaya's roles, like Bhishma Deva, though he was one of the Lord's devotee, still he acted on the other side, even Dronacharya also. So is it because they wanted to help in the Lord's Leela? So because of they have taken that role? Can we say like that?
Well, ultimately it is so, but in this case, they still, and that is again, they were acting a particular role for us to learn, learn. Bhishmadev, what he said, what his defense was there, that he was tied up because he said, "Unhone Duryodhan ka namak khaya hai." So he has his sense of duty was completely misplaced. Ultimate duty is toward Krishna.
Yes.
Right? So that's where Bhishmadev committed mistake, and he suffered for that because of that. Dronacharya.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. So yeah, please go ahead.
But Dronacharya, even because Bhishma Dev was another point is he has already given the vow to his father.
But
saying
he was
that
his love was
sitting...
his love was on an apparent Vaira Bhava. Vaira Bhava means on animosity, but still his love, it was not the same Vaira Bhava that Kamsa had. That
yes,
there's a difference in that.
Yes, yes.
His love in a bhav, that bhav was still loving to Krishna. Krishna desired that kind of, he needed to fight with somebody appropriate, and Bhishmadev provided that platform. Okay, whereas Kamsa's Vaira bhav is totally different level. Same way, this Shishupal,
yes,
extreme envy.
Yes,
that's what that what is the definition of this pure love? You know, Anya Abhilashata Shunya.
Yes.
Dana Karmadi
Anavjit.
Then Anukula Yena Krishna. That bhakti which is favorable to Krishna, that is called Uchyate Bhakti. That is a top kind of bhakti. So here, that Bhishmadev did that, apparently violation of that right, but that's what Krishna desired. So he acted properly in that sense. Nonetheless, Krishna wanted him to teach a lesson to all of us that ultimate duty is towards Krishna, right?
Yes.
His explanation, his defense was a faulty ground. Nonetheless, he was a devotee. But these people, Shishupala and Kamsa, Shishupala is still a former devotee of the Lord, right?
Yes.
He was following, acting because of Kumara's curse, right?
Correct. Yes.
But Kamsa is on a different platform. And Kamsa killed Draupadi's first 6 sons. They were Shadagarbhas. They were actually demoniac people that side. So but nonetheless, Krishna saved them, right? When Draupadi desired to bring back, Krishna went there, Yamaloka, and took the Shadagarbha back here, right? So you have to understand all these things from a proper perspective.
Correct, Prabhu. Sure. Prabhu.
Unless you understand from a proper perspective, it will confuse your mind, you know.
Correct, Prabhu. Sure. Thank
So
you so much. Prabhu.
Vishnudev was apparently on an animositical, but that was according to his desire. The way.
Correct, correct, correct.
So his Vairabhav is actually a kind of bhakti towards Krishna.
Correct. Sure. Prabhu. Yes.
So each
Thank you
of the
so much.
characters of Mahabharata,
Yes.
Vyasadeva really created this wonderful literature, Mahabharata. Each character, if you see, very carefully developed.
Yes. Yes.
Each character,
Yes.
you name it, each character. Kunti Devi's character.
Kunti Devi, Vidura Mahatma is Vidurani.
Yeah,
So
everybody-
Guruji,
all-
if we one more point we
Very,
can add.
very, each character that plays a role in Mahabharata,
yes.
how each of them play a very significant role. Yeah, Rakshamata ji bolo.
Thank you, Mat.
भीष्म पितामह को वीर रस को एंजॉय करना था. That's why he wants
Yeah.
to fight with
So he
him.
was actually following what Krishna desired. So he was perfectly acting out his role and ultimately teach us a lesson. So his so-full faithfulness to Duryodhana, because he said, I am sworn to the Sihasan of Hastinapur. Whosoever is sitting on the Sihasan of Hastinapur, my service lies to him. But that was on a wrong platform. Because they were on the wrong platform. Duryodhana and his father, Dhritarashtra, they were completely acting in a dharma platform. So his faith was misplaced. His means Bhishmadev. He did not defend when Draupadi was being disrobed in the full assembly. Because he was duty bound. Yeah. Okay, continue. Yes, sorry.
Hare Krishna,
Any other
Prabhuji.
questions? Some yes.
Dandrat Pranam, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. So grateful
Yeah.
to you for today's class.
Thank you,
I'll tell you why,
Amanda.
Prabhuji. Just one comment, not just the slides today, but each and every word that you spoke was to, understand the essence of each and every aspect that you wanted to teach. So I don't know how you have done it, Prabhuji. Dandrat Pranam, you are so blessed.
No, it is the thing. We are not the doers. Remember, everything comes from Krishna. That the humility first develop when we are on a bhakti platform. In a literal sense, Krishna inspired me to write. Everything is, I am just he dictates through my pen, my typing.
Yes, Prabhuji, but you are
Everything.
really blessed. But
No, really.
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, one question I wanted to ask.
Boli,
Like,
please.
this Rasa dance has happened in Krishna Avtara. But as you said, the relationship, you have to see it as a relationship like gopis with Krishna. We have to also see it in terms of bhakta with Bhagavan.
Yeah, that's came up, right? Your Acharya's comments were there. You have to see
Yeah.
it from that point of view.
So in the other incarnations also, we see the relationship of Bhakta with Bhagwan is very strong. So has this Rasa dance also happened in other avatars, or it has happened, it happens only in Krishna avatar?
No, see, in Rasa dance, it's Krishna and the gopis involved. Well, in the first 9 kingdoms, we see in different examples, different incarnations, many of the devotees who play a role, they were in the devotional platform. But in this particular instance, in 10th canto, and especially in Rasa Leela, that is completely on a different platform. This is personal. Krishna and the gopis, between them. And even among gopis, it is Sri Radha. Okay. And the other special courses that we did, Radha Tattva, Sri Gopala Champu, Priti Sandarbha, we went in much, much greater details in so many different facets of this Madhurya Rasa that we went through there, remember?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So ultimately, exactly what you understood is right. It's between, even though they were in conjugal rasa, okay, but still in a deeper sense, it was between devotee and Bhagavan. And same way in Vatsalya Prema, this Nanda Baba, Yashoda Maya, their love for Krishna on a Vatsalya Bhava, but on the topmost level, Ragatmika. See, we're Gopa friends, you know. So you have to understand from that point of view. But out of these 4 rasas, which one is not there? And Shantarasa is not being played here, right? But the other 4 rasas that we clearly see it here in Vraja. And these pastimes in Vraja Leela are the topmost. When Krishna leaves from Mathura, that original Krishna is no more. His expansion, Vasudeva expansion. So there Krishna is like a politician, you know, totally different role. But that politician is to establish religious principles, to punish those who are on the that platform which is not devotional, which is not really on the right dharmas. That's where the Vasudeva expansion takes place. To really deal Pandavas which were outranked by Kauravas, who are clearly on the adharma path, so that the Vasudeva portion was required. This political, diplomatic way of handling that was required. So Krishna took over that role. And ultimately, when he goes to Dwarka, the other elements, you know, that took. So in great Mahabharata war, because that's the way, that's the reason why he descended. The Devas had requested, right? Mother Earth, Bhara Avatara, these demoniac elements were overpowering, overwhelming the Earth planet. So all the kings, those who are on a demonic platform, they were assembled and all together killed. Even Drupada, which was supposedly on the Pandava side, they were also killed. Because each of them had the elements that is not desirable. So you have to understand all these things from different point of view. So Krishna being Vasudeva expansion, because he came to eliminate all these demoniac elements from earth. So all of them were gathered together by his arrangement, divine arrangement. They all were destroyed in Mahabharata war. And then remember at the end, Gandhari curses Krishna also, that you destroyed my Vamsha, my family. Same way you will destroy your Vamsha also. And Krishna, he was in a completely, he could have eliminated that thing, right? But he accepted that curse of Gandhari and he destroyed his own Yadu Vamsha also the same way. He had internal fight, which can never be imagined that could possibly take place. Yadus fighting among each other. Yadus were also descended straight from the spiritual world. But they were made to fight each other and kill each other. But this is also Leela, to teach us a lesson. The whole entire Bhagavatam, Mahabharata is to teach us in this particular yuga is coming there. Because this whole Mahabharata and everything happened toward the end of Dwapar Yuga, before Kali Yuga begins. So ultimately, for our lessons, it's the best lessons that we can learn. So you have to, there was a politics involved, but actual Krishna, the way he is in Golok Vrindavan, is only in Vraja. And that is personal pastime as he is. That's what we are witnessing here now. And Charama Sima, the ultimate is now in the 10th canto, is Panchadhyay. That's what we are seeing. The love between Krishna and the gopis is actually love between devotee and the Supreme. कई आचार्य तो कहते हैं आत्मा और परमात्मा का मिलन है. Many acharyas think that way. But they were actually, the gopis were actually, they were his eternal associates in Goloka. The surface it is shown, they were wives of other gopas, but that's not exactly. As we saw in Gopala Champu, Yogamaya had created shadow gopis. Those were the wives of the Gopas. And they did not participate in Rasa Leela.
तो प्रभु जी अगर भक्त और भगवान के बीच की जो रास क्रीड़ा है तो यहाँ पे हम भगवत गीता का ये श्लोक कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं, ये यथामा प्रपद्यन्ते, मतलब जितना हम रेसिप्रोक जितना हम आगे बढ़ेंगे भगवान उतना हमें रेसिप्रोक करेंगे, ये कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं प्रभु जी?
That is for mostly us, but this platform Gopis acted with Krishna and the Krishna acted for Gopis. That is on a supreme platform. So that is not
प्रभु जी
Yatama.
हमारे लिए
Gopis,
डिवोटी और भगवान के बीच
wait, here first, let me hear. Gopis, see that verse says that proportional, right? Proportional reciprocation of Krishna. But here Gopis gave everything, sarvasva. Their own very self surrendered to Krishna. So there that verse does not apply here, in my opinion. That their love service, devotional service was completely 100% for Krishna. There was no shortage in that. And that's why Krishna said, I'm eternally indebted to you. Na parayaham. I can never repay that debt. So that verse that you just mentioned, to me, does not apply here.
प्रभु जी मगर डिवोटी और भगवान का मतलब जो डीपर मीनिंग जो आचार्य ने बताया कि दिस इज द डीलिंग बिटवीन द डिवोटीज एंड द लॉर्ड, उसमें हम ये कर सकते हैं कनेक्ट? ओके, डिवोटी तो देयर आर मेनी स्टेजेस ऑफ द डिवोटी.
But these devotees are already on a pure platform. Nitya Siddhas. Nitya Siddhas.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Haribol. Yeah. Any other questions, comments? We still I'll turn the microphone to Sharad Prabhuji. I'm sorry, Sharad Prabhuji, last couple of minutes remaining, but you may do it 5 minutes at least.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So if you can do some summation, you know.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'll tell you something which nobody would have heard or very rarely will hear, because I have heard from great authorities. This is regarding Lord Rama, his pastimes. And you'll be knowing that in Ramopasana also, there are devotees who also follow this Madhurya Rasa, in Madhurya Rati. Now in this one very confidential thing, what they discuss is during Rama's pastimes, he and that is Rama and Sita, Rama and Janaki, they did Rasa Leela for 999 times. They were supposed to complete 1000, but at that time what happened, Indra's son Jayanta, he created some disturbance. That is a different story. I will not go about it. As you know, as you would not have heard about this, I'll tell certain other proofs also. Like in the Brahma told Krishna and Radha after the marriage ceremony at Bhandirbana, which is given in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. We have also gone through this in the Radha Tattva course. He told him and Radha that Raghunandana Tvam Janakatmajayam. That means you are Raghunandana, you are son of you are actually Rama. And to Radha, he is saying you are Sita and Janakatmajayam. And in Brahmavaivarta Purana, there is a the Krishna is telling Radha, Tvam Sita Mithilayam cha. That means you are Sita. Now, where this Rasa Leela took place, the Rasalila took place in Chitrakoot and Ayodhya. Chitrakoot, Rama and Sita, they stayed there for 12 years out of 14 years. And where from the Sakhis came, now you know the gopis, innumerable, they were in Vrindavan and they took part. But in this Rasalila, those who took part, they are known as the Sakhis. They came from where? They came from the hair course of Janaki ji, and that is Sri Sita. And who are the Sakhis? Major Sakhis, that is the Ashta Sakhis, like the Ashta Sakhis we have in in the Vrindavan Lila. There are also Sakhis in the Rama Lila also, like their names, some of the names are Chandrakala, Charusila, Hema, Subhanga, Chandravati, Kshema, Madankala, Nanda, Bimala, Chandra, like this. And there, another very interesting thing is that the flute is played not by Rama but by Janaki, and that is Sita, and Veena is played by Rama. Then you will ask me which are the rivers there, because in Vrindavana, Yamuna is there. Now Mandakini is there in Chitrakoot. And as you know, Mandakini, it comes from near Anusuya's temple and flows over Chitrakoot for 71 kilometers. Then it meets Betwa, then Betwa meets Yamuna, and Yamuna meets Ganga and Prayagraj. So this is some of the things we should remember. And what happened at the end, when Indra's son Jayanta, he created disturbance, then thereafter the Lord Rama, he said that 1000th Rasa I will do in Dwapar Yuga in Vrindavan. So that is what is the story that is discussed in the channels in Ramanandi Sampradaya and Sri Sampradaya also. The time is up, otherwise I would have told certain other things also. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Continue tomorrow then.
Yes, yes.
So let's conclude the class today with Nrsimha prayer. Who is going to do it?
I'll do, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Mataji, will you please carry on?
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadadayini. Praladadadayini. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito Nrsimha, Parato Nrsimha. Ito Nrsimha, Parato Nrsimha. Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha. Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha. Vahi Nrsimha, Hridaye Nrsimha. Vahi Nrsimha, Hridaye Nrsimha. Narasimhamadin Sharanam Prapade. Narasimhamadin Sharanam Prapade. Tava Karakamalavarenakam Adbhuta Shringan Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanuvringan Keshavadrita Nararirupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare तव करकमलवरेणः अकुतशृङ्ग दलितैरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्ग केशवदीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Please accept my obeisances. All Krishna Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we shall continue tomorrow. Hare Bol. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaiji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Chandrabhu.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna, Dandavat.
Dandavat pranam to all.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam to Mataji.
Thank you very much, Sharat Prabhuji, Sanjeev Prabhuji. Hare Bol. Thank you.
Thank you.